you will see in your press pack that there's a letter that was written to State House asking for the valuation of this office, and there has been no response.
And is it also true that the office of the fourth president wants the government to pay rent for its private property?
I think what we need to understand here is that the suitable choice of office, and I've explained to you what informed him to be able to use this office. And actually, if I may just add to that, is that the offices that are being used currently had to be taken over because what I've explained is that there were duties that needed to be taken over immediately. And despite our being able to reach out to the office of State House to be able to pay, or rather to be able to settle our office, has gone to deaf ears. The offices that we use are currently on that side where you've just, on the other side where you're from. Those used to be actually servant quarters that were converted urgently so that the office can be able to be in use.
And finally, you say that your name, Kanze Dena,
Yes. 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 Yes.
So how are you earning your salary?
That, unfortunately, we have not earned a salary for the last 2 years.
Question.
Yes.
My name is Ken.
Yes, Ken.
Just wanted to know, in terms of the money the fourth president has spent from his own pocket, how
Yes.
much is it? Would you be able to quantify? How much is it now? And the issue of you're not earning a salary.
Yes.
So who's sustaining? I mean, you've got bills to pay. Who's paying for that?
Let's talk about savings. That's all that I can say about it. So just talk about savings. And I'm not able to actually quantify on how much it is that the president has been able to spend, because that includes fueling, it includes the foods that we're eating as a staff, travel bills, all those things, electricity. So I'm not yet able to compound in totality how much that is, but it's a rough amount. I don't, Madam Wahu is our administrator, our personnel officer. Maybe she can be able to answer that question.
Good afternoon, everyone. We do not have an exact figure of... currently, we do not have an exact figure of exactly how much that he has spent, but that totals to the transport bills, every travel that he makes, catering bills as well, and any other running, administration, operational running of the office. But we don't have the exact figure at the moment.
But you require a refund if things go well.
Yeah.
We have the documents. We don't have the exact, the right figure, but we have all the documentation with us.
Yes. Yeah.
I have 2 questions. Number one, do you feel that State House is frustrating this office deliberately? And number 2, you have talked about amounts of money that you're supposed to have received from 2023
3.
up until now.
Yeah.
About 1 million.
1 billion shillings.
So from as far as you know, is that money released from National Treasury and it goes back somewhere, or it is not released at all?
Okay. From the understanding that I have, and which you can go back and clarify, is that once Parliament allocates the money, I think I've also read it in my statement, the money goes to the accounting officer. For this office, the accounting officer is the controller of State House. So what happens is that once the money comes, we make a request for whatever it is we'll need, whether it's fueling, travel, and all that. So that money is supposed to be released to us by the accounting officer. That is one. On your second question, it is difficult to assess and understand why the actions that have been taken by State House have been taken, but we just notice that there's a reluctance, yes, towards aiding us. Yeah. Any other question? Yes. Yes, Sydney.
How far when it comes to peacekeeping or DRC, maybe involved in that process? And secondly, I want to speak to the timing of this letter and the release of whatever is happening in the country right now. The spokesman did speak some time back. So is this timing speaking to whatever is happening in the country politically?
Okay, to your first question, I think the pressure today was about the office and the status. So on peacekeeping, we will address that much later. In terms of the timing, you did realize that he did the presser, I think, last week on Friday. It was not a long time ago. He did the presser last week on Friday. Last week, but one on Friday, I think. Last week, but one on Friday. What we needed to do and why we took time was we wanted to ensure that what we are bringing before you is the true position and with evidence, so that we are not just alluding to a statement, but we want you to have the evidence so that you may be able to understand the correct position of this office and what we stand for and what we believe in and what is true, which is want to make it public. And the reason why we've been able to respond is because they formally responded through the government spokesperson, and we felt that that was now the opportunity for us, as the Office of the Third Retired President, to also make our formal response so that people get to understand that this is where we are at. So it has nothing to do with any political indication in the country right now. Yeah.
And just one last one from me. The controversy where we are
Yes.
standing right now,
Yes.
where it says your house as the office of former president actually does belong to the family of the president.
Yes.
At this point, you're asking the government to rent out, to sort of rent out property that belongs to you and academics from where you say you think that is morally correct.
Okay, there is something that I would want you to follow up. Maybe you can check in the public. There was a conversation that happened during His Excellency's tenure concerning also the other beneficiaries of the Office of the Retired President. And there is actually a conversation that happened between State House and the AG's office. I'm just not able to have those documents right now, but it alluded to the fact that being able to rent an office that belongs or is related to the family was not a conflict in interest issue. That issue was raised with one of the former retired, or one of the beneficiaries. I'm just not able to name who it is right now, but it was concluded by the AG then that is not a conflict of interest, and that's why the former president made the decision to have the offices here. Yes. Yes. Yes.
My question is, the reason why the statement is actually structured on the office of the retired third president
Yes.
is because it has to be anchored within the law, and that is the
Benefits Act. Yes.
Don't you think there are terms and conditions that comes with these benefits that perhaps the government feels have been flouted or are not being adhered to, especially touching on politics that could bring this complexity and give them a good gray area not to do what you're asking them to do?
I know that one of the things that they talk about is his involvement in politics. And I think the correct position is that if you remember very clearly, immediately after inauguration, there was an NDC that was held by the Jubilee Party. And the process of that, the purpose of that NDC was to begin a process for him to be able to hand over chairmanship. But as we know, things went as they went, and the matter is currently in court. So, inevitably, he remains the chairman of Jubilee. Inevitably, because he's one of the Jubilee is one of the key parties of Azimio, he still remains in Jubilee. However, I think we can note anywhere that he has been inactive in terms of political activity. So I don't think that that should be a basis or a TOR that should necessitate the kind of treatment that the Office of the Retired Third President is receiving.